want to show you something. Now, I pulled up some active listings in the Tampa area today, and they're priced between 450 and 550, which is right around the median price for the area. And look, these pictures are so bad, so just obnoxious that I can't understand why an agent would take them. I can't understand why any agent would take their own pictures personally, but also why a owner would allow them to be shot. No, this first picture, the room doesn't look great to start off with a one yellow, one green wall. But the fact that it looks so dirty, so dark, it looks as though a Motorola flip phone's being used to take this picture, and just doesn't add value at all to the home. Second picture, like you're trying to be artsy and trying to make it look as though you know what you're doing, but you're just demonstrating that you're clueless. Moving on to the third picture, like you can clearly tell someone's taken this with an iPhone. They've tried to kind of step back far enough to kind of show a random Murphy bed, but it does nothing, absolutely nothing for the home itself. And these are $500,000 homes, guys. Like they're not getting offers. They've all been on the market for over 250 days. Now, look at this one. They say in their listing it's architectural lighting, but all I see are four solar lights at the front of a dark house. Like it doesn't sell. The whole point of taking pictures is to gain interest enough for people to come and see a home. Like this bathroom picture taken with an iPhone standing upright, like what's the point? There's no reason to take it. It offers no value. And in the same listing, then this backyard, filthy, unmaintained, and just not appealing at all. So guys, look, it's not rocket science. Your photos should enhance the reason why people want to come and see your property. If you look at your listing, whether you do that on a niche website or Zillow's website or wherever it is, when you look at the pictures of your home, it should make you want to go and see that house. It should make you want to spend the time to click through more images. And right now, these owners are wondering why they're not getting offers. And no one's told them, look, it's your pictures, they suck. Well, in this podcast, it's exactly what we're going to do. So, hey guys, if you've just jumped into this podcast in the middle of it, welcome. This is our first one, Tampa Real Talk with me, Gavin Frater. And look, guys, I've been in the industry for nearly 15 years now. I've worked predominantly in the New Jersey market before moving down here to Florida and the Tampa area via Virginia Beach. And look, what I've seen over the last 10 to 15 years has put me in I wouldn't say unique position, but I think my personality puts me in a position where I can help you avoid the mistakes that most agents aren't going to tell you about. They want to show you pretty kitchens and bathrooms and stunning vistas and walk you through and make the house all about them. I'm going to make this experience more about you. Look, I've seen what works in the toughest markets. I came into real estate not long after the 2008 crash, and things were still sluggish when I got started, which gave me a great ability to both be able to position a home for sale and understand a buyer's requirements for purchase. That's why I don't show a lot of homes on my day-to-day basis. So yeah, look, we're going to get rid of the veneer. We're going to get rid of the fluff. It's not a brothers type of thing. It's not a made for Magnolia kind of podcast. This is kind of a stripped back look at the real estate world, or what we call in the UK, just no bollocks, just Tampa real estate. And we'll get into what bollocks are at a later date. Look, what you can expect from me in the coming is honest market talk, specifically around the Tampa Bay area. So if you're in and around Hillsborough, Pinellas, Polk, Pasco, Manatee counties, this is what you want to be listening to. Look, I would love to say this is going to become the #1 real estate podcast in the world, and that's going to make me a billionaire. But I just want to make it so that people don't make the mistakes and listen to some of the rubbish that I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis. You're going to get honest market talk, real stories and straight answers, and absolutely no bullshit. So if that's the kind of content you want to listen to, stay tuned, because we've got a lot of it coming over the coming weeks. So the big question is where are we as far as real estate is concerned in Tampa right now? Well, if I told you it's kind of a neutral state, you'd probably be calling me a coward and not sticking my banner to any particular mass. But average days on market in most parts of the greater Tampa area are high 70s, low 80s. Supply is at about 3.5, 4 months. And what that means is that we're right at the end of any kind of seller benefit in the market and probably more into a neutral state of things, which means that homeowners are having to be a little bit more understanding, a little bit more kind of meeting you in the middle with regards to your offers when you're putting offers together. And I think that for a lot of people is why the market is where it is right now, because buyers want to think it's still 2020 and they can list on Monday, have multiple offers by Wednesday, and close by Friday, having made significantly more than they expected. Whereas buyers kind of seem to think that there was no industry before 2021, and so they want to be able to think that they can go in like it's 2008 again, and a seller's desperate to move. And the fact of the matter is, according to Bankrate, more than half of the country currently has at least 50% equity in their homes. And of those homes that aren't over 50%, 80% of them have rates of at least 4% or below. So selling isn't necessarily the be all and end all for everybody. So the market's in a state of flux, and I think a little bit of compromise on both sides is probably where we're at right now. But buyers definitely have a lot more options than they did a couple of years ago. And so some of that power balance is kind of moving a little bit more towards them. But look, let's talk about where the issues are for the sellers. Like this entire podcast today is dedicated to why your agent might be screwing you out of the opportunity to sell your home. And I'm going to be honest, there are thousands and thousands of brilliant agents in the greater Tampa area. I'm fortunate enough to work with some of them on a day-to-day basis, but there are some absolute knackers out there, guys. And for some reason, people keep hiring these absolute knackers. And you see from the beginning, if you looked at the pictures at the beginning of this podcast, you would have seen the level of photography I wouldn't have accepted 7 years ago. Now, I haven't taken my own picture on a listing since 2017. Look, I'm not a professional photographer. I don't take my pictures for the same reason that you shouldn't sell your own home. It's not what you're good at. So when I see pictures, when I see listing pictures kind of put together, and some of them are taken on a portrait level, and some of them are on landscape, and none of them really have the right angles, and definitely don't have the right framing, you know an agent's gone in there and done it. And every time an agent takes their own pictures of a listing, it gives the world another reason to hate on the industry. And look, what people don't take into consideration is we don't make money as realtors until you buy or sell a home. So it's always in our best interest to do the best we can for you. And so if your agent is not having a professional come in to take those pictures, the first thing you should do is cancel that listing agreement and get a full unconditional withdrawal. I'm being blunt. Look, it's no bollocks. I promised there was going to be no veneer. There is no excuse in 2026 for an agent to be taking their own pictures. What's worse is there's no agent's guidance given. The amount of properties that when I'm looking for buyers, I'm looking to help them look through listings, and I see the same mistakes that people have been making for decades. And as social media has grown, we've been taught as agents not to do. But agents sometimes just don't have the courage to nut up to their client and say, look, I'm sure you love everything to do with the Cabbage Patch Kids, Mr. Seller. Unfortunately, having a shrine to them isn't really conducive to selling your home. Yes, look, your collector NASCAR plates are great for you, but they're not adding value to your home. So if you're not being told to declutter before your professional photographer comes in, fire that ass. There are so many people out there that need to be fired, that need to go back to being admin assistants and dental hygienists and plumbers and electricians because they're just shit at helping you sell your home and getting you what you need and value and deserve for your property. And don't get me started about listing descriptions. Without naming names, one of my mentees reached out to me with another generic listing description. And when you do read, and again, most people look at pictures before they even think about reading it. So if the pictures are self-taken with terrible staging and terrible setting, you're already screwed. But if then you come back with another vanilla, and we're talking seriously vanilla description, guys, what are we doing here? If this was your dating profile, this would be like you taking pictures of yourself on the toilet with face masks and your hair up and all the worst pictures you could imagine in front of you on the toilet going, I like people. Guys, we as an industry, we have to stop this bullshit. And I'm saying bullshit because it is. It's absolute bollocks that we would expect to do anything less than our absolute best for you, the client. So as a client, here's what you should expect. Demand professional photography. Demand staging consults. Hey, is this room good enough to be photographed as it stands right now? If your agent goes, yeah, it's fine, it's great, I love it. Those are great NASCAR cars, by the way. Then fire that ass. Can I read your description before it goes to print? That should be the minimum your agent is doing. I haven't submitted a print description of a listing that my client hasn't already signed off on ever. Ever. So the fact that you have so many of these generic bullshit descriptions, look, everything is a beautifully maintained, moving, ready to be like new 2024 new build home. Tells you nothing about the feeling you get when you walk in through the door, or the ability to host multiple guests in this chef's kitchen, leading out into the stunning dining space that leads into a great pool area. Make people fall in love with your words. Make your agent make you fall in love with your home again by what they're saying. And look, let's be honest, if there's no video content, there's no listing. Look, pictures are great. We'll scroll, but I want to see some video. I want to see how that house actually flows outside of still images. And no, AI produced slowly panning images are not video. I see them all the time, and it's not video, it's bollocks. And if the most your agent can do for you is some bullshit on AI, fire that ass. We're going to be saying fire that ass a lot for buyers, for sellers, for a lot of people. So get used to that. The last thing you want is a poorly showing, poorly performing listing that doesn't get people hammering your door down to buy it. Zillow and Realtor.com, they may be the Antichrist, but they're going to show your property. And you don't want your property to look and sound like every single other property in that subdevelopment, because otherwise you might as well be trying to sell the other homes. So be specific. Tell your agents, look, I don't have the capacity to work with every single agent, every single homeowner in Tampa. I wish I did. But when you speak to your agent, get the marketing plan from them. Ask them who's taking the pictures and can you see their portfolio. Ask them about staging. If they have a stager that will come and do a consult, or whether they know enough about how to stage a room. Ask them for some past listing descriptions so you can see what kind of writing style they've got. And check their social media. Have a look at their walkthroughs. Take a look at their Reels content. Have a look at what they're doing for other clients and find out, is that enough for you? Is that enough for them to justify their 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, whatever percent you're going to agree with them? Ask them if that's enough. Look, it's a tough market for sellers out there. It's not 5 years ago. So you've got to do everything you can. And if I can inform just one person to make a better decision with their agent based on the things their agent will and won't do, then this podcast, for however long it runs, will be worth it. Okay? Like, I see it on a day-to-day basis. Look, I'm a sales professional before I was a realtor. I've worked in most industries. Prior to real estate, I was in staffing. I made a lot of phone calls. I still make a lot of phone calls. These days, I tend to speak with those people who are in financial distress so I can help them. And I speak with owners whose homes didn't sell. So I do the expired call. And you probably, if you live in the Tampa area and your home hasn't sold in the last 6 months, voice is probably familiar to you. But you look and the same mistakes are being made over and over and over again. Look, I always believed that there was only one reason why a home didn't sell, and it was price every time. There is always a person who will buy this house if the price is right. I've seen the light a little bit more, you could say, and there are three reasons, particularly why. Price is key. If you drop your house price $50,000, then it might sell. But you might not be able to afford that, so let's look at some ways we can counter that. But price is important. Just as important is how the house shows. And that starts with photography, continues with videography, and finishes with how welcoming your home feels to somebody who's walking in to see it for the first time. If you have pets, can I smell the cat? Can I smell the dog? Do you cook with a lot of strong spices? Because smells will put people off long before their visuals start to cut out. But the visuals, is the house clean? Is it well lit? If I'm selling your home and I know you leave the house at 9, but you have a showing at 10:30, I'm going to ask you to leave the lights on before you leave. Yeah, it's an hour and a half of lit, but if somebody's early, you want the lights on. Every room should be well lit when somebody comes in. Your agent shouldn't have to run around turning lights on. Having a well lit, neutrally smelling, or a pleasant smelling home is a huge difference. Take away your clutter. Tidy your kids' room. Like these things, whilst excusable on a one-off situation, oh, you know what? It's a short moment notice showing. The kids were playing in their room all day. I haven't had a chance to tidy. Let the agent know for me, and that's what I'll do. So you want to make sure that the house is showing its best. So then you've got two of the three. Is it listing price? Is it the way that the house shows? But probably the most important, and I think in this kind of market, it's where we as an industry should be excelling. It's how well am I marketing? How well am I selling your home to other people around the world and to other agents in the market? I can tell you I've been here in Florida for 3 years, was in Virginia for 2, and I've been licensed in New Jersey for 14. I don't think I have ever received a call from a fellow professional making me aware that 123 Banana Street has just hit the market in my town, and you would love to show the house, and if I have any buyers, I'd love to bring them along. Never. And that's the one thing that I think we should be doing in order to bring people to a home. If I'm selling your home and I know that there are 10 agents who've transacted in that neighborhood in the last 6 months, there's a chance that those agents still have leftover buyers. So reach out to them. Look, our actions as realtors go way beyond what most people understand. But the problem with most realtors is they're not sales professionals and they don't know what they're doing after the realtory stuff has been done. So if your realtor doesn't have a sales plan, can't provide you with accountability whilst your home is listed, you know what you got to do, right? You got to cut that ass. My clients receive a bi-weekly report, almost like an attorney sending you a billable hours each month, showing you what I've done for you over the past 2 weeks. Now, look, it might be that I spent $100 pushing your listing through social media channels in order to grow the exposure. It may be that I've reached out to my buyer base in my CRM, matching those people who are looking for your kind of home. I might have spent time reaching out to other agents and telling them about how great this house is, and if they have a buyer, we'd love them to bring them by. I might go, and this is one that I personally hate, I may go to networking events and physically speak with realtors face to face and present your home to the group as a whole. Either way, you're going to know every 2 weeks what I've been doing to justify my fee. And that's what we need to do as agents. We need to justify our services to you. Look, I had a listing appointment last year. The original listing agent grossly overestimated the value of the home in conjunction with the owner grossly overvaluing what a home was worth. From there, the home sat. And I'll give you hypothetical numbers so that no one's going to be able to find this particular house. But let's say the house was listed at 6 and was a maximum value of 5. I'm not understanding the market. The owner pushed for 6 and wanting the listing, the agent said, yeah, I'll do that. I'll take that listing. No problem. Well, there's two mistakes right there. But the home sat. And over the course of the 9 months the home was listed, it dropped to 550 was the price it came off the market. So I go about, I make my calls, I call the 550 house and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Oh, we really want to sell the home. Okay, well, look, I'd love to go over the way that I do things differently to most agents. Can we set an appointment? And we did. I go and meet with her. Now, I will preface this by saying you do not have to pay everybody's commission as a seller. You can pay just your agent's commission and ask the buyer's agent to pay their own. That was set out in the recent NAR lawsuit. So we're not going specifics on commissions. Personally, I believe that you have a better chance of offering commission to the buy side, but we're not going there right on this one. So I met with her, toured the house. The house was really nice. It wasn't $550,000 nice, but it was nice. And with the right push, you could probably get 525, maybe a little bit more. So we do the tour, we explain what it is that I do and how I work. Then we talk about listing price. And I said that I think 525 max is where she needs to be able to bring the most likely buyer. To which she said that she was looking purely at 550 as her starting point and wasn't prepared to negotiate down. Okay. And so I said I'd consider it, but we go through the rest of it to see if we're still on the same page. I explained that for me personally, my fee is 3%. That's what I'm worth. That's what I know I'm worth. And she's told me she was only looking to pay 2. Okay, so strike 2, she's almost out. And I said, well, I could maybe make that work. I just want to make sure you're paying the buy side so that we have the best chance of selling this home. What are you offering the buyer's agent? At which she responded with nothing. So she has an overpriced house. She's undervaluing her professionals that she's hiring, and she doesn't want to cooperate with anybody else to sell the home. And then she's well within her right to do that. So at that point, I respectfully declined to go any further with the interview. I said that I thought that she was unrealistic in her expectations and that I wished her the best of luck, but that she should find another agent. I left. I think at the time I did a social media post about unrealistic expectations. Well, I get a call next day asking me to go back. Look, I'm not available this afternoon, but I can come out tomorrow. Okay. She's kind of seen the light, she said, and she's looking to get me back out. So I re-prep, looking to go back to this house, and then get a call that afternoon from a young agent from another brokerage telling me that she's just taken the listing and that I can relax. I don't have to go see the house. So in questioning the agent listed the house at 560, not even at 550, at 560. Accepted, wasn't cooperating with buyer side agents. So again, overpriced, not cooperating. So she's double striking. And then I joked, saying, I bet she's only paying you 2%, to which this agent whimpered, no, I'm only getting 1. Now, that was about 7 months ago. The house is still sitting at 540. And again, numbers I've made up, but you get the idea. So the agent, look, if you're paying me 1%, there is little motivation for me to want to go out and bust my ass. I know my value. I've been in the industry long enough to understand what I bring to the table. And look, I can accept if you don't want to pay the buy side. If the numbers don't work for you to do that, you're well within your right to do that, but price it accordingly. There are lots of things you can do to mess up your real estate transaction. There really are. You can do it any which way you can. I think Choosing the wrong agent who's not going to market the property right is the biggest thing you can do wrong, followed by not staging it and having the wrong price. Okay, we've talked about the bad. We've talked about the mistakes. What can we do as agents to help you as consumers sell your home and get you the best return for your investment? This is what selling your home in 2026 in Tampa looks like now. Number one, professional photography. It's an absolute non-negotiable period. If your agent's not bringing a professional photographer to shoot your home, you do not let them in the door. Not at all. Now, look, I am not a fan of virtually staged property, but if you're selling a vacant home, the technology has got a lot better. But the one virtual picture I am a fan of is that twilight slash golden hour shot that kind of gives you the red and sky in the background. It adds the curb appeal. It kind of hits the serotonin in the brain for a lot of people as to how it looks. So you definitely want to see that. Again, you don't want all 76 images from the reel. The way you want your pictures to appear online is outdoor, twilight outdoor. I don't even want to see your front door close up. Get me in the house and show me what I want to see as soon as possible. If I'm not in the house within the third slide, probably moving on to the next house because I'm bored. And make sure your agent does your pictures so it feels like you're walking around the house. So don't go bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, backyard, living room, like tour the house. It's not difficult. Make sure your agent's creating the walkthrough videos as well. Not only should they be sitting in YouTube and optimized for SEO so that people looking for homes on Google, if they're saying home in Tampa, you want your video to have the opportunity to appear. There it is. Look, here's my house. So make sure they're optimizing their social media platforms. Make sure they're creating video content and not just one video. You want to see multiple videos and you want the house to be the star, not the agent. This is not about the agent. When I see videos, there's a particular influencer who likes to chat shit about a house and it does nothing for the house. So you make sure not only they're creating longer form content in the shape of walkthroughs and YouTube and socials, but short form content for Reels and TikToks and Facebook and YouTube Shorts as well. YouTube Shorts are huge because YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. And let's talk about listing descriptions again. Keep them upbeat and about a lifestyle, not just beds, baths, square footage, car garages. And base your pricing on strategic, informed data. Look, I can tell you what sold the last 3-6 months. It doesn't tell me what's going to happen in the next 3-6 months. So your agent should be looking at current inventory, see where people are pricing properties right now that match yours. They should also be speaking with agents of those that are classed as pending. They have an offer accepted and find out, did you get close to or near asking price? How can I look at what's happening now and be able to predict what's going to happen in the next 6 months? So it might be, yeah, look, 5 homes in this neighborhood sold for $450,000. It doesn't mean yours is going to. Because when you speak to the agents who have 3 properties all pending and find out that they're around 410, 420, and you see the new listings are coming in at 425, you know that there's a downturn happening in the pricing for that house. And maybe 415 is going to be the optimal price for the property moving forward. So don't overprice, because a house, when it stagnates, the first thing buyers tend to do is ask what's wrong with this property. And there may be nothing wrong. You may have just missed the market, and it's easy to do. So if you can take care of the photography, you can take care of the verbiage used, and your agent is savvy with social media and video, it positions you to be able to say, this is my house, come and buy it, guys. And as an agent, it positions me to say, look, hire me. I know what sells. I help you out. Guys, it's how you sell a home as a buyer and as an agent and as a team together is essential. So many people try to do it on their own. So many people do it wrong. And the only thing that's going to lead to are hurt feelings and empty pockets. Okay, so we're close to the end of the show to this first one. Hopefully it hasn't been too boring. I know I can get a little bit preachy at times, and I know that not everybody is interested necessarily in what the sellers need. That's why next week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a buyer's perspective. In fact, we're going to launch episode 1 and 2 together so buyers and sellers can each flip between the two videos, and they're out now. Over the weeks, we're going to talk about multiple different things that are impacting home buyers and home sellers in the greater Tampa Bay area. I'm also going to jump into my passion, which is helping people avoid foreclosure. So look, if your listing's been sitting and your last agent couldn't get it done, you should be reaching out to me. My track record pre Florida was about giving homes second chances. If you're not sure why your home's not selling, talk to your agent. If they can't give you a reason and they can't show you their activity, get rid of them. Look, I believe that every agent has the capacity to do great things. I just think agents have got lazy over the years and they try to rely too much on ChatGPT, or they try to force too much. And at the end of the day, real estate is and always has been a sales job. And if your agent is not selling you on buying a house or selling your house, then you need another agent. Guys, look, hopefully this is said at the beginning of the podcast, this is going to lead to global fame and worldwide riches. If it doesn't, I'll be happy just spending my weeks helping you navigate the real estate industry in Tampa Bay and beyond a little bit easier. In the coming weeks, we're going to talk to mortgage brokers and home inspectors. We're going to talk to pre-foreclosure specialists. And we're going to talk to other agents and see what's going on around the country. But each week, we are going to specialize and concentrate on what's going on right here at home in Tampa Bay area. Look, guys, thank you so much for watching in the first. If you're still watching, thank you very much for putting up with me, and we'll see you all in the next episode.